I am not a conspiracy theorist. I deal in facts. The bottom line is the Western civilization we have here in America and elsewhere is derived from Greek civilization, and no one even begins to say otherwise. In Greece, you had three major philosophical points of view. One is that reason over senses, your ability to think things through, and reason is more important than your ability to perceive, and that the senses are misleading. Number two, that senses are really more important than reason, and reason will lead you more astray, and you really have to sense it, and everything that you need to know can be sensed. And three was that nothing can be known regardless of which path you choose. Okay, nothing can ever truly be known. They'll have fancy words for these points of view and mislead people and make it harder for people to get to degrees so they can explain these things from a standpoint of, Western expert power. But this is the gist of it. So, reason and forget what you think you know, what you think you sense. You can see someone getting raped and say, hey, you are suffering from a mental illness. I'm an expert. I know more. I have the Sophia, the expert power. You don't. That's where it led us. Okay? Obviously, I believe that it's a mix of sense and reason and faith. Okay? And higher reason and higher sense, which comes from martial arts conditioning. Obviously, when you compare my view to their three and how they don't even have my view there, they weren't martial artists in Greece. They were bitches. All right. So where does it lead you? Well, it leads you to African masculinity in the energy and the spirit as expressed through flesh, right? This is something we sense versus what the merchants, the global merchants, had vested interest in backing, which is their reason point of view to create their science, to help them perfect their system of global marketing and oppression. So let's start with the church, shall we? Mankind basically votes for the devil. Satan can be seen as a sit-in pharaoh, or he's sitting in for the house of light, Pharos, the Messiah, the anointed one. Okay? The sun, versus an imposter Serapis, paying homage to an image as a mage. And that image, I would argue, is a priest from a Western perspective, which is a high magician or high priest of Satanism, or a mage, magic, illusion. Okay? So Serapis, I would argue, is some sort of a mage's image who represented Hades mixed with Osiris and Apis, who was anointed with oil. People fasted and they ate vegetables and bread and things of this nature. A lot of parallels can be drawn. So the story of Jesus is a Serapis interpretation or twist of the story of Horus, one can say. But it's a little bit more difficult than that. It is actually the story of Jesus is the continuity of the Light Temple as being explained to people who had a Western mystery perspective. So unless you view it in these terms, an African martial arts true perspective, as explained to Westerners, you're going to miss the point. All right. So, of course, the church goes through Circe, channeling. When you think of an image, imagine this thing, psychology and channeling. So when you think of Jesus, you think of that image, which then twists it in your mind, and you're paying the devil or Serapis or the high priest of Satan, the Church of Satan, homage, the Church of Satan back then. Okay, so idol, to dull the eye, to dull your perception, to redirect your prayer to this image. This is a graven image. All right, so Jesus is the sun. In Revelations at the end, he says he's the bright morning star. Makes it clear that he's the continuity of the Light Temple. All right, ill-gotten gains, man's enjoyment. Okay, so when we think about ill-gotten gains, when somebody gives their daughter a car after killing somebody, and she then drives around like she's important, says, I have this car, okay, should she be punished for her behavior? And should the car be taken away? This is a very straightforward example of ill-gotten gains. Obviously, she should be punished to a certain degree. Maybe not thrown in prison, but someone should say, hey, look, you're a dumb bitch. You're bragging with this blood money kind of car. You know, this car you got from, your dad got from killing somebody. Okay, you're a piece of shit. You're less than the least of us. It has to be said. And if it's not said in a society, regardless of you being the same race as this person, the same political group, etc., you're bitches, you're of the devil, shut up. You have no right to speak about God, no right to speak about religion. You're evil, you're void of spirit, you're an empty vessel, just shut the fuck up. Can we all at least agree on that? Can we all understand where I'm going with this? Or are you all bitches and I'm the only righteous man left? So none of you should wear white, just me, you're all bitches. Okay. Moving on. So the regeneration at the expense of the righteous. So when that woman then creates a society where people breed toward her and her butt buddies and her network, can we not see that these are the rich people who have a hard time getting into heaven and not the children of God, but the children of the devil, regardless of race and stated philosophy or stated religion, regardless of expert power? They are scum. They need to shut up about religion. They can't even say religion is not good for us. You're evil. Shut up. I wouldn't let you within a fucking country of my children if I had a choice. You're scum. Much less should my children look up to you. Shut up. Shut up. The fuck up. All right. So basically, one way to look at this is, does the society tolerate these Jezebel blood money whores, or do they tolerate people like me? Well, is people, are people standing with me? Or are they standing with these Hollywood, continuity of Greek tragedies, gender-neutral Greek plays, and pederastry type of people? So we look at bodybuilders, right? It also goes back to this, chemistry, to dull the senses illusion, right? They take drugs to dull their senses, and they study their bodies scientifically to see how much stress they can put on their body and how quickly they can get it to repair to become big and strong and set world records. Is this natural? No. This is brute. This is science. This is illusion. This is stupidity. Sit down, you big fucking ape. I will break your big ass down and surgically strike you where you die. Shut the fuck up. Are we all on the same page? Or are you bitches who need to wear black or red or pink and behave like bitches, like the people in charge? Okay. Deuteronomy 6:4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. So you love God first, and through that, it comes down through the Logos. And people like me, who are the closest to God, the top martial artist, define what love is. Not a committee of social scientists, psychologists, elitists, merchants, globalists, corporatists, etc. But people who actually move in the spirit. Not the Jezebel with I murdered your family and got this car, look up to me type of bitches. But people who are actually in the spirit, who prove it the only way we know in society, which is martial arts. There isn't even another way to express spiritual power through the flesh. It doesn't exist. And one must differentiate. They must make the distinction between true light temple martial arts from the land where we're all from, Africa, where I prove Eden was in Lower Egypt. We come from Africa. Therefore, Eden and Africa are sacred ground just as much as Israel. Ham and Shem. And even Israel is from Canaan, which is more related to Ham than Shem. So Ham and Shem together, and regardless how you slice it, period. They were trained in Egypt. Joseph took the wife of Potiphar, was Asenath or something like that, the priest of On, or Heliopolis, the sun temple, the light side, the cat of Heliopolis, the rosette stone, the sphinx, leopard body, negroid features. So obviously it must come down through the true Logos of God. There's your definition of love, because I'm in the spirit of love, which turns into the spirit of righteous indignation in the face of injustice and evil. Straightforward reason and sense. No illusion, no bitch shit, no Jezebels who need to shut the fuck up. You can get it. If everyone else in the world becomes a Jezebel, does their opinion matter more than mine? Of course not. Of course not. If everyone else in the world cannot get in the Spirit as much as I can, does their opinion matter more than mine? If everyone else in the world says we have an opinion on what he said, what's written in this paper, and I'm the one who sees it, I'm the only one in the Spirit to see it, I'm the only one here, does their opinion collectively matter more than mine? That is the idea of a logos. I know, collectively, you all don't. Very straightforward, unavoidable truth. One God, one person most in the Spirit, one way to prove it, spar it. When they all hide like bitches and drug and cheat, is it because they're all in the Spirit and they're students in their lukewarm martial arts philosophies, all in the Spirit? When no one else does what I'm doing and challenges them on behalf of God, is it because they're in the Spirit more than I am? Straightforward, I'm the top martial artist. Light temple, truth. No illusion, Jezebel, cowardice, and bitch shit. Period. Done. Now, part 2, I'm going to finish this off. At the end of this part 1, I'm going to show you a clip from Chike Day 3 or 4 years ago, something like that. They're inevitably going to slow it down. Okay, remember, 15 hits from Deontay Wilder's boxing range in 1.2 to 1.4 seconds. I want you to look carefully for the signs that they're slowing it down. I had to work the angles. But bottom line is, how long does it take me to strike all the way out and recover? Okay? So when they slow it down, I want you to keep that in mind. I think eventually I'm going to try to make a video where I cover how many hits I did in that video in increments, because I kind of paused between strikes to help you understand. Yes, I've set the world record. You have to consider the distance, right? Obviously, do you consider the distance in the mile run, or do you say, well, it's the same as a 100-yard dash? Consider the distance covered, you fucking morons. And stop acting like sniveling bitches. And stop pretending it takes the same amount of mind power to control a small little body that it does to control a long body. Why is a big, strong person move like a big oaf instead of with precision? Because he has more mass to control with the same mind. With his brain, with his heart, with his mind, body, and soul. So when I'm coordinating my whole long fucking body better than the little guy, when I'm moving faster than he is, it's because I have more mental power, not less or the same. Straightforward, it can be no other way. Remember, look for the signs they're slowing it down. Because I'm in the Spirit with truth. They're controlled opposition political party bitches and secret society bitches that pretend to be, part of the freedom movement. I am in the Spirit of God. Even if they all pushed as hard as they could, even if the entire world bent over backwards to achieve the Spirit of God, I'm the most in the Spirit. I am the Pharaoh. I am the house of light. Even if the world said we know better than Jesus, he's the Christ. I'm the next best thing in this generation. And for the same reason, if I die, you're cut off. Because the next best thing is not good enough.